Alrighty, good and happy Friday, TGIF everyone. How are you doing today? We have the US non-farm payrolls, non-farm employment change number to be released today, so it's going to be an interesting session ahead. I hope you have been well. Hi Jimmy, how are you doing? Hey Drew Marinas, good morning. I guess you guys can see me and hear me okay. We'll give it a minute or two before we get started and going. In the meantime, the link is there again for the Discord channel if you haven't already joined us. I think most of you have. All good, all good. Thank you so much, Drew Marinas. Thanks for that, Jimmy. We are also streaming on TikTok. Anyone on TikTok, do remember to say hi. And if you are on any of the other platforms, X, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitch, or on YouTube, if you're new to the session, remember to say hi. Let me know where you're joining us from. I'd love to find out. And if you have any questions at any point in time, please feel free to put it into the chat and let me know. I reserve special thanks and appreciation for all my regular followers. Good to have you again with me. Good to be doing this session together with you guys. Good morning, Wendy. How are you doing? Hey, Christina. I am doing fantastic. Caught a couple of good trades last night and this morning, so that always makes me happy. Always brightens the day. Good morning, Patel. How are you doing? Hope you guys have been trading well. Hope you all have been trading well, and we shall get started right now. Okay, US NFP tonight. Quite a number of news to get through. If you have any questions, again, please remember to put it into the chat and let me know. If you want to share any particular trades you got into, I'll be happy to do a quick review of that as well. And all I ask is you help me out. Click the like and subscribe button. Just get more people onto the live stream. You can also share it with within your network to get more traders onto the live stream. Hopefully, it'll help them with their trading journey as well. Hi, Sirin, how are you doing? Okay, so now with that, big news, 8:30 p.m. GMT +8 US NFP. I've said that 4 times already. Oops, next slide. A quick disclaimer, any information contained on this webinar should not be construed as advice and is presented as educational material only. Please do your own due diligence, as the contents of this webinar are not intended to be a recommendation to trade a financial product. As your objectives, financial situation and needs has not been considered, and you should consider its appropriateness to your circumstances. Funny thing is I keep doing this, I do this disclaimer, this quick disclaimer every day. Some of you find it quite funny and interesting that I breeze through it. One point actually that we have here talking about your objectives and financial situation and needs has not been considered. Put into the chat, let me know, if you can, I would really appreciate that, is what are your objectives through this trading journey? Is it really something as simple as a hobby? Something to do in your spare time? Is it a hobby? Is it something that you're doing for self-improvement? Is it something that you're doing for a passive/active income? Or is there the ultimate aim of becoming a full-time trader, trading full-time, quitting the job, trading, and just spending a couple of hours a day on the charts? Or are you gunning to be professional, trading full-time, taking on investors, taking on a more professional route? Put it into the chat. Let me know what your objectives are. That kind of helps because, especially those of all the regulars, it'd be nice to know so that I can also kind of tweak my approach to help you guys a little bit more. Maybe where are you at now, your objectives now, that changes sometimes as well. So a lot of people might start off as a hobby, then progress on to, oh wait, I can do this as a part-timer, I can look for some more active passive income, and then after you realize that you have a big passion for the markets and you want to do it full-time and professionally as well. So let me know what your journey and your outcomes and objectives are. Just want to know where your mindset and how I can help you better through this journey. Okay, Jimmy with the quick answer, being a full-time trader, very nice, very good. I look forward to helping you with that. Good morning, Ayakame, how are you doing? Hi Diana, good to see you. I am doing fantastic. Hope you are too. Hey YJ, good morning. Okay, now with that, we've done all that, take that away. Very nice, Ayakame. Ayakame wants to go through the whole 9 yards, the whole 18 yards or 18 holes. I'm a golfer, so 18 holes. Ayakame said that he wants to ultimately aim to become a professional, taking on investments, trading for people, and the whole 9 yards. Very nice. Look forward to, again, as same with Jimmy, I look forward to helping you through that journey as well. Okay. Good to see, Diana. Very nice to see. Okay, now, what has happened? What has happened since the last time we spoke? A lot. Okay, not in terms of news, right? Not in terms of news. A whole bunch of news from yesterday since the last time we spoke, but I don't think these moved the markets that much. Didn't move the markets that much, despite unemployment claims going from 210 revised up to 212, expected 213, came out at 221K. Bit of a higher jump on the unemployment claims for the US, but I don't think it affected markets too much. Just remember as well, just wanted to cast your mind back to this with the ADP non-farm employment change we saw on Wednesday. It was 104K, revised up to 155, and it came out at 184. Okay, so why I cast your mind back to this non-farm employment change number, it really comes down to today's news where we have the non-farm employment change from the government body, the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Again, ADP and the Labor of Statistics, not Bureau of Labor of Statistics, BLS, not correlated. It's not always the case that you see ADP being a good number, you see Friday's number being good. It's not that you see bad on Wednesday, you see a bad number on Friday. And it's not inversely correlated either. Doesn't mean you see a good number on Wednesday, you see a bad number on Friday. I've gone through years and years of data between these two numbers, these two data releases. There's no clear correlation between them, but I use it as a little bit of a guideline. Okay, so ADP was a good strong number at 184 if I remember correctly. Tonight we do have the US non-farm employment change, 275K expected, previous 212K expected. Let me know, where do you think this is going to be? Higher? Well, we're not going to go for a number, we're not going to go for a fixed number here. We're going to go higher than, let me think. Higher than 250, higher than 250K, or lower than 200? Higher than 250 or lower than 200? I know someone's going to ask me to do a poll. Let me see if I can do it quickly. I can't figure out now. Hang on. Okay, here we go. Where is NFP going to be? Higher than 250K. Give me a second. I'm doing the poll. Lower than 200K. There you go. Wait, there you go. The poll is up. If you're on YouTube, you'll see the poll. Vote. Do you think it's going to be higher than 250 or is it going to be lower than 200? Just for fun and laughter, we try and figure out what the number is going to be. And while you're doing, I'll give you a couple of seconds to do that. While you're doing that, Samuel says he wants to be a full-time trader. Diana wants to be a full-time trader. Hi Linley, how are you doing? Diana loves to watch the chart and wear pride and where price is going. It's like a chess. I love it. Hey Nav, good morning. You guys putting in the numbers? You guys putting in the numbers? Put it into the vote above 250 or below 200. It doesn't affect what the data is going to be. It's just our best guess. Okay, so tonight we do have Canadian employment change numbers to be released. 40.7, expected 25.9. I'm thinking that unemployment rate might climb slightly from 5.8 to 5.9 for the Canadians. And because of that, employment change might be a bit lower. I'm even thinking a bit of an upset here, maybe 20-something K, right? So a bit lower than expected on the employment change, and unemployment rate rising to 5.9. The main feature is still the average hourly earnings, non-farm employment change, and unemployment rate for the US. Unemployment rate likely to stay at 3.9%. Non-farm employment change, are you voting? Most of you have voted to be higher than 250. I'm along that mindset as well, that it might be above 250, but I think that as much as it might be above 250, we might see the dollar weaken. Maybe. My mindset, looking at going through the charts today, I'm thinking that might be 250 and above, but we might see the dollar weaken. Okay, and average hourly earnings was 0.1, expected to go 0.3. I'm thinking maybe we'll see a 0.2 on the average hourly earnings. That's inflation, wage inflation. That's a factor of wage inflation. So we are seeing inflation growth slowing down. So I'm thinking maybe not as high, maybe to 0.2, but overall, possibly looking at a small spike on the dollar and then a retrace back down lower again. That's my view. For now, we'll look into the charts shortly. One more thing to highlight as well is, I don't know whether we have that news there. I know that I think BL was sharing it. Someone was sharing it on the Discord channel about how let me see if I have it here. I don't see it. I don't see the news there, but there was a news late last night, early this morning about Iran going to retaliate onto Israel, right, for bombing its embassy. Not getting into the politics of the whole conflict, the geopolitical conflict over there, but you know, when a country retaliates on another, that leads to a shift, a very clear shift towards reserve, right? A shift towards reserve. What I mean by a shift towards reserve is the dollar might strengthen, or is likely to strengthen. The yen will strengthen and gold will strengthen as investors and people like yourselves start moving capital towards reserve currencies or reserve commodities. And that's one reason, right? Another reason is that we saw the BOJ says does not directly target FX in guiding monetary policy. FX is among key factors that affect economic price developments. And you know that whenever the BOJ starts talking about this, they kind of bring about the chance of increased chance of a intervention, right? People, whenever the BOJ starts talking, people start thinking, are they going to intervene? Are they going to intervene? Again, talking about achieving inflation of 2%, likely to keep heightened, right? It's in sight, likely to keep heightened. Why I bring that up is because what we saw, oops, let me take that away. What we saw on the yen in particular early this morning, right? This was at 2 a.m. GMT plus 8 for me, where we saw the yen go from 151.6, well, 151.70 within the hour down to 151.15. bounced up early in the morning, and then at 8 a.m. it went from 151.30 down to 150.80, right? Again, one of our members in the Discord channel, when it happened, highlighted yen movement on yen strengthening. I replied with the idea that it's still at my support, not ready to sell into it yet. And then the next moment it bounces back up slightly. What I'll show you here is that the yen on that move has retraced back to the 50% level. So it might not go back all the way. It's at that decision point. We're trying to figure out, or trying to wait for it to come back, possibly come back down again. Okay, so this move at 2 a.m. likely because of the potential increase or heightened risk on geopolitical concerns. This move at 8 a.m. it's Asia waking up to that news, and also speculation, rumors and speculation that the BOJ might start considering an intervention, or might do a sneaky intervention. Okay, so that was what happened on the US yen. And why I picked out the US yen for this is because on the dollar at 2 a.m. we saw that push, but it didn't push as much. And then at 8 a.m. it's pushed back down. By 9 it pushed back up. So that move towards reserve seems quite evident, right? Where we saw the movements on the dollar, we saw the movements on the yen. We did not see too much of that, right? The Kiwi did come down a little bit. It came down again at 9 a.m. because of the dollar. So we didn't see the Kiwi strengthen. So now I'll move towards reserve. The Aussie, I was out of this trade, so I saw a clear rejection of that point. Got off that trade already. And also on gold, you see that because the dollar strengthened, but you see the gold now bouncing back up, right? So there is a bit of a move towards reserve on dollar index, on the dollar strength overall. Some yen strength as they move towards the yen, and also a move towards gold. Jimmy got, I think Jimmy was the one who shared that, but yeah, the news about the yen. So Jimmy got out with 20 pips on the yen. Very nice, very nice. Let me see. In the meantime, Erwin, hi Erwin, how are you doing? Hey YJ, YJ wants to be a full-time trader as well. Very nice. I like it that everyone wants to be a full-time trader. Okay, so what we have now so far on the poll, 64% of you have voted that we might see a higher NFP above 250k, while 36% of you have voted that we might see a lower, or wait, it's changed, 58 at above 250 and 42 at below 200k. It's, to me, that's as good as 50-50. 58 to 42 is as good as 50-50. So it's really anyone's game at this point. What we'll do today is we will do a what's it called? We will do a scenario. Dollar strength scenario, dollar weakness scenario. We do this every NFP, so we'll be able to filter down not just what trades to look at, but filter down which pairs to look at, and also which ones to look at in which scenario. Okay? Vlad with a question. Do you use trend lines and support resistance for your trades? Definitely. 100%. I can't imagine anyone who trades without support resistance or without trend line. So definitely trend line and support resistance. Okay, so we've gone through all the news that has happened so far. We've gone through what might happen coming up later tonight at 8:30 p.m. GMT plus 8. Just a quick overview of what could happen next week. Monday, not much news. Tuesday again, a little bit quiet. Wednesday is where it all starts all over again, because we do have on Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. the RBNZ with their interest rate decision. At 8:30 p.m. GMT plus 8, we have the US with their CPI year on year. It is currently at 3.2%. Is it going to break 3? Is it going to break 3? And are we going to get to that 2 to 3% target level? Going to give the Fed Reserve a little bit more confidence with their possible interest rate cut heading into June. And then at 9:45 p.m. we have the rates from the Bank of Canada. So Wednesday next week is going to be a big one with interest rate decision, CPI, and interest rate decision again, followed by meeting minutes from the US on Thursday, the ECB with the interest rate decision on Thursday, and then PPI, ECB press conference with the UK GDP on Friday. It's going to be a big week next week, right? It's going to be a big one next week with 3 central banks with the interest rate decision. So why I'm highlighting this to you, why I'm highlighting 1, 2, 3 interest rate decision plus a CPI for Wednesday for the US is to show you that there are going to be opportunities coming up next week. The market is always going to give you opportunities. In the event that tonight's NFP comes out not what you expected, or it comes out with no trade opportunities, don't feel compelled to force a trade. Don't force a trade. Don't feel like you have to enter a trade because it is an NFP. Know and believe that next week you're going to have more trade ideas, more trade opportunities with all the central banks and the CPI data to be released. Okay? I realize I've just been talking non-stop, so let's get to the charts. So here we are. Dollar index. Yesterday we talked about this. We said it was heading down. We were looking for it to break that area before it could go down further. It came close, it broke, sat there in the doji before pushing back up again. So that big downward move did not happen. Take that away. It's bounced back up slightly. So this 50% level, this 38.2% level still held. Right, it's bounced back up slightly, but now let me see. This trend line I could adjust down this way. That would still make sense. Yes, okay. So now it looks, so it's bounced back up, right? And then it's looks like it's pushing back down again. Let me see if I can remove some of this. I don't actually need this. Okay, take that away for now. And we take, let me see, we don't need that because that's broken. Okay, we'll keep this big move up. We have 61, we don't need that. We have 61.8 right there as a good support. With an interim level there, we have 38.2 there. Okay, so I'm happy with that. Now looking at this move from the top down, you can see that it came up to that 38.2 level and hesitated. So we'll keep those, and that's what we're going to see. Okay? So that's where the dollar is at right now. Hey Angel Case, how are you doing? Ayakame caught 15 pips on a USCAD setup yesterday. Very nice. Okay, so let me move this a bit. There we go. Okay. What I'm looking at, what I'm thinking here, let me see. That is my support now turned resistance. What's likely or what could happen, right? Again, referring back to the non-farm employment change number. If we're expecting a 250, I think that we might still see a 250, but we might see the dollar weaken. It is pushing lower. It could either look like it could sit there and then push back up before pushing back down again, or it's gonna sit there. No, wait, I think I know. I think I can guess what's gonna happen. What could happen is that now, between now to the non-farm, which is about 5 hours, we might see this trade down a little bit, push back up, and then after that turn back down again. That's my best guess. That's my best guess, okay? Ultimately, I wouldn't be too keen on any major trade unless it breaks below that support level, or on the dollar strength scenario, if it breaks above that resistance, particularly that 61.8 level, that point there. Right, so I'm only looking if it breaks below that support of 104, the nice round number support level to the downside, or if we see massive dollar strength and it breaks above 104.65 for that upward push. Overall, still thinking that we might see that weakness come back into play. So 5th of April, on the dollar index, I'm thinking that we could see stronger, higher NFP, but my DXY could weaken, break 104 support to trade down to 103.70. There we go. To 103.70. Okay. That reminds me, I want to share with you a couple of trades that I did first. I think I told you guys this on the Discord. Aussie dollar, we spoke about this yesterday. To test that resistance, to reject that resistance and sell down. So I got into that trade on the Aussie. I closed out 4 pips before my take profit on the Aussie. So that one is a good trade. I think I got out at about there, maybe 45, around 45 pips thereabouts. So anyone got onto the Aussie dollar, let me know. Right, I scalped on the yen late by only a couple of pips, nothing to be super excited about. I did get into the pound Aussie, so you guys have influenced me, so I'm expanding my scope of trades. I had, where is it? I can't move that one, but I had a trade like that. My stop loss was 30 pips. My take profit was down to that point. There was something like that before, right? And then as it was pushing, so I got in there. As it was pushing down, I move it to break even and then try for the downward move. When it consolidated along that point and it pushed down, I got out at 50 pips for the pound Aussie. Okay. So with that said, now looking at the Kiwi. So Kiwi, we were looking for it to push up and break that resistance. Did not happen. Take that away. It's come from this big move from the bottom up to the resistance, from the support to the resistance. We've now found that it's being supported at 38.2. All right, we found that it's being supported at 38.2. We don't need 23. Take that away. Okay. We don't need that point as well. That's the mid-level point. We take that away. Okay. So at this, actually I caught the Kiwi on the scalp down as well. So now on the Kiwi. I'm looking at it bouncing off 38.2. Again, remember, We're looking at some weakness on the dollar, maybe a bit of strength back up on a spike and then back down again. So overall looking at a weakness on the dollar to possibly continue. If the Kiwi maintains this level, if 38.2 holds, we could see this push up to the resistance. You know what? I think that this could be a scenario where you consider if it's dollar strength, right? As much as we're looking for the dollar, we're expecting some dollar weakness. What if the dollar doesn't weaken but it strengthens? So now for it to push up, we're looking for a possible test and reject, very similar to what we saw on the Aussie. A test and reject. So below 0.6040, 6035, stop loss 20 pips, take profit. We could go down, we have 30 there, but I like that point at 50 and 61. So we could go down to this point here, and even as low as 55. There we go. Hey Stefan, how are you doing? Okay, so that's what I'm looking for on the Kiwi. All right, now dollar weakness, right? Dollar weakness now. Want to see it push back up to test that resistance. On the release of the non-farm, maybe later we might see it reject that level and push back down if the dollar strengthens, and we could look for that trade. Okay, I'm happy with that. So 0.6035, 20 to 55 to the downside. So we're looking to sell 35, stop loss 20, take profit 55. This is on DXY strength. Okay, on DXY strength. In the alternate, if it doesn't retrace all the way, it could break lower. If it doesn't do that and then it breaks lower, I'll still look for this on the DX. I don't see a big massive push. Now I don't see a big massive push on the Kiwi. So if it sits here and it pushes lower, then you have that kind of setup. Below 0.6, stop loss tight, no more than 20 pips. Your take profit in this case could go down also to 55. So it depends whether it's going to sit there and break lower or push back up and break back down. We're looking to sell on the Kiwi. Then to the Aussie, that move I've done already. I'm taking that out. Anyone else got onto the Aussie? Let me know. We see it, don't need that. We see it tested at this point. Well, we see it bouncing off this point, pushing back up. I see this move as well, where it's bounced in this 38.2 level. Again, I would say that I look for that bounce and reject and form a bit of a double top as well. Very similar to the Kiwi, where you'll be looking to sell down 6605, stop loss no more than 20, take profit 45 to the downside. We'll keep that one. Okay, we'll keep that one in for now. Sell 0.6605, stop loss 20, take profit 45. This is also on DXY strength. There we go. Then onto the US yen, right? It did not test and reject, but we know why it fell, why the US yen traded to the downside. So we take all of that away, bounced off the support. What I would like to see, and now if you look at that, I don't know whether Goju's on the session or who's the one who always looks at chart patterns? I can't remember now. Yeah, you would see a bit of an inverted head and shoulder here. Right, inverted head and shoulder here with somewhat of a neckline there. Okay, but although there is this, I'm still looking at possible continuation. The 152 level is going to hold. Right, 152 level is likely to keep holding. I don't need this. So if you want to get into this inverted head and shoulder to the upside, 151.45, take profit 40 pips, stop loss 20 pips, like that. That's something to consider. But you can see that wait, I won't do that. Okay, you can see that the US yen is within this range. Right, it's been stuck within this, apart from this breakout, it's been stuck between 150.85 and 151.90. So it's stuck within that range. It is right in the middle there. I want to see a possible dollar weakness pulling this lower. Right, a dollar weakness pulling this lower. So I want to see that push up and then a rejection of this point. So 151.80, stop loss 25, take profit 90 pips to the downside. So inverted head and shoulder, if you want to buy it up, maybe some people would, but I'm looking for a rejection on dollar weakness to push it back down again. Similar to what happened here and here and here as well. Okay, so US yen, I'll be looking at sell 151.80, yes, 25 to 90, stop loss 25, take profit 90. There we go. This is on DXY weakness. Okay, on that push to the downside. So if we see that move lower down here, then we could see that test and reject. I am very kind, Diana. I'm feeling very kind today. I feel very kind every day. So yes, I can do the pound Swiss franc as well. Not a problem. Yeah. I like that one for the US yen. I wouldn't buy it up. It's just right in the middle right now. Would anyone buy this? Would anyone trade this inverted head and shoulder to the upside? Let me know. Would you trade that up? Mr. Kind is my new name. Yeah, would you trade this up, or would you? I would prefer to wait to sell it back down. I prefer Mr. Profit, Mr. Profit, Mr. Trade, Mr. Setup. Okay, now, so we did that. Okay, no, consider news. Yes, good. We did the US yen. Now look at the pound dollar. I'll tell you what, pound dollar, just before this session, it was pushing right back, it was pushing down, right? It has been, so I came in at 9 a.m. this morning and has been sitting right across. Okay, that did not happen, take that away. It was sitting right across, and for that whole few hours, I was just thinking, something needs to happen on the pound. It's consolidating right across, not surprising because it's a non-farm Friday, but it's sitting right across. And I was just thinking, something needs to happen, but it's right in the middle of that support and resistance or interim resistance level. So I wasn't keen to do anything. 2 p.m. it started pushing lower. I'll show it to you on the 15-minute time frame. There, 2 p.m. it started pushing lower, and I thought, right, is this the move that's going to see the pound dollar come lower? Fortunately, we have our live stream, so I didn't feel like I wanted to get into a trade before the stream, and then I sat out, and then it's come back up again. So it's sitting right there. And we're not that surprised why it's sitting right there. It's come back into this area. I think this is it's considered a bit of a gap, a fair value gap or something. I don't know the SMC terms, but it's because it's broke out of this whole thing. So it's come back in a little bit, right? From this whole move, I think it is at that 61.8 level from this move up. So it came down, tested this level, and then it's sitting right there. Right? So with this, and if we take this whole move, just to get an idea, that's about 50%. Right? So it came down to that 61.8 on the smaller move, about 50% on the larger move. It's sitting right there. What I'm looking at in this case is, we see this, a dollar weakness scenario would see this push up of this point here, right? And we see this as a big indecision area. So what I'm thinking is that I'm a bit undecided, if you haven't noticed yet, that it might do this or sit there and push up straight away, right? And it could, because it's right in the middle, it could really do either. We don't have any major pound news. We do at 4:30 have the construction PMI. They might see some strength come back into play for the pound dollar. Looking at this, I might be looking for it to push up on dollar weakness scenario, right? A dollar weakness scenario might see this push up, and it will look, I don't like it. I don't like it either way. It doesn't give us any entries. It does not give us any entries. In fact, what I would actually prefer to see is that move. Yeah, actually that's what I want to see. I prefer to see is some dollar strength, right? We're talking about that dollar strength come back into play, and then that weakness. So I might want to prefer to see this bounce back up. Some dollar strength pushing it down to test at 61.8, failed to break, and then bounce back up. Then I'll be looking at 1.2605, stop loss about 20 pips, take profit way back up there to about 70 pips to the upside, back towards that previous swing high. That's what I would like to see. That's the kind of setup I'll be looking for. So there we go. Pound dollar looking for a drop, a continuation to the downside, a rejection of the 61.8 level, a bounce. I'll look to buy at 1.2605, stop loss 20, take profit 70, back up. Okay, I see your comment there. Let me get to that shortly. 1.26 0.05, stop loss 20, take profit 70 to the upside. This is on DXY weakness. Yes, we can do, sorry, I can't figure the nickname, but yes, we can do pound yen as well. And yes, Dinah was saying that's my issue too. Can't find which. Oh, hey Lydia, how are you doing? Dinah saying can't find which direction the price will go on the pound dollar. It is right in the middle. It's right in the middle. So if it goes up from here, it could go up from here, but I wouldn't say it's any good trade setups because it's right in the middle. Alternatively is to look for it to break that resistance and buy it up, but it's got a fair distance to travel before it can hit higher. So I'll be looking for that instead first. But as I'm talking, it's starting to bounce back up. Okay, and then onto the euro. Tested, so we spoke about this, test that interim resistance level, reject and turn back down. So that happened. Anyone got into this trade, let me know. Take that away. Now it's pushing back up. If you looked at this 61.8 is that point, I'll consider that whole area as a bit of an interim. Okay, we can take just that part first. And it's pushing back up. So if you look at this, okay, just as a bit of a side topic, is if you look at this, that needs to go up about 40 pips before it breaks that previous high. The pound dollar needs to go up about 60 pips before it breaks that previous high. So because of that, you know, I think if it goes up by 60, it might be a bit exhausted. Don't think it's going to have further legs to carry past that resistance and further upside. So because of that, I look for the retrace. While on the euro dollar, it's pushing up. I would say on dollar weakness scenario, I'll look for this to push above 61.8 and that previous swing high. We'll be looking at 1.0885. Stop loss 25 pips. Take profit up there to about 55 pips towards that previous swing high. Okay, so that's what I'll be looking at. Dollar weakness, we'll be looking to buy. I forgot the number. 1.0885, 25 to 55. 1.0885, 25 to 55. And this is on DXY weakness. Okay, there we have it. And if I just did that as well to double check, it's kind of close to that 38.2. So bounce, yep, okay, I'll be happy with that. That's my resistance turn support. Okay, then onto US Swiss franc, we did not see that happen. It dropped all the way instead of pushing up before dropping. The move was right, but it just didn't retrace as much as we thought. Finding the support here at 9012, which is also that 23.6 level. If I drag this up, I would think that it's close to that 38.2 as well. Okay, so we have that move up, found support, pushing higher. I wouldn't, again, I think I don't like doing this too much, but it says I wouldn't do anything on this. The only thing I'll be looking for if the dollar weakens. Because if that's trade, if you trade this up, even at this point here, you're going to have a 30 pip stop loss. You're going to have at best a 55 pip take profit. I don't think, and it's right now going into the news, so I wouldn't want to do that. I would say that we would be looking to sell it down if it breaks this point. So below 0.9, 8990. Stop loss 30 pips. Take profit. We could go for, we could go to this point at 50. That's about the same. We could even go down to this point at 90 with a possible hesitation at 8940. So what we're looking at, what I mean by that is, whatever it does here, we're looking for a breakthrough of that support back down again. So on that, we're looking to sell at 8990, 30 to 90. 0.8990, stop loss 30, take profit 90. Okay, that's on dollar weakness scenario. So we have got our strength scenario, we have our weakness scenarios. On the pound, you could, no, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. Okay. Then onto the US CAD. Ayakame caught 15 on the CAD. I think on that move lower. So good job. Take that one away. Trend line is done. Well, we can revise that trend line. No, it's done. Take that away. We don't need that interim level as well. Okay. So what we have here, what do we have here on the US CAD? Remember, at this point you have to remember that at 8:30 p.m. GMT plus 8, there's going to be CAD news and US news at the same time. So it could come to the point where we're going to have the dollar maybe strengthening a little bit and then weaken back down. And then most likely we might see the CAD weaken. So we might see CAD weaken, which means that we could see this push up, but the dollar strength and then possible weakness might push it back down again. Okay, that's what I'm thinking. We do have a bit of an interim level here. So we might see this push up to resistance and then trade down to support. It's going to, what I typically tell everyone on days like this, whenever the non-farm payroll coincides with a CAD employment number, is typically I would say stay away from the CAD because it's going to spike around. But what I would be looking for in this case would be a test and reject 1.3605, stop loss about 20 pips, take profit at 80 pips back down. I don't really like that. Yeah, but I think that would be the most likely, unless it rejects from here, push down. Now the dollar is pushing lower, so that should drag it down. If that drags down, a bounce and then break down, I think that this could happen, but the likelihood of this will be low, right? Because it needs to travel up and then push back down, which on the current trend seems to be, that level seems to be holding. So I don't even like that much. What I would actually think more likely is a down, a push, and then a down again. Then that would be more reasonable to be 1.3515. Stop loss 20 pips. Take profit could go down to 50. On a dollar weakness scenario, pushing down, back up, and then, oh, okay, hang on. I think I know what could happen here. Sorry, just suddenly realized something. What could happen is something like that. It'll push down, bounce off this support, because we're anticipating some dollar weakness, but also anticipating the CAD weakness. So maybe what we could be looking at is 1.3535, stop loss 20 pips, take profit, you have 45 first, and you could even go higher. Okay, I like that one. Okay, so I'll tell you why shortly. We'll look at this to buy 1.3535, stop loss 20, take profit 45. Yes, to the upside. This is on CAD weakness and maybe DXY strength. So we have 3 strength scenarios, we have 4 weakness scenarios. We'll cover that and then we'll consider, right, dollar, so some dollar strength and then the weakness back down, and then we might see that push back up again. So that, I like that for the USCAD, just looking at the different scenarios. Then on to gold. I remember I have to do pound Swiss franc and pound yen, so stay tuned. Gold, we spoke about this yesterday. We said it's going to retrace to 2271.50, reject to bounce back up to 2305. 2271.50 came exactly on the dot. 2271.50 bounce, rejected, to push back up, looking for it to get to 2305. I would still hold that thought. At this point, we have that trend line. So sometimes, and especially on gold, if you should notice is that the fib levels work very well. The fib levels work very well on gold, and that's why we can come to the point of 2271.50 to test and bounce back up to 2300. Okay, so I was very happy to be able to spot that bounce. Test, and then I think what could happen is a test and reject. What I think could happen would be for it to test 2305 and do that. So I think it's going to get to 2305 and then come back down to about 2290 again. So I'll still, to keep it, oops, what did I do? Okay, nothing. Oh, wait. Okay, to keep it simple, I would say that we need to look for reaction at 2305. Because at this point, 2305, it could spike up and then continue up a little bit more before coming back down, or test and reject. But I'm looking for a move like that. Okay. Diana says my analysis on USCAD aligns with yours. I'm looking to buy. Fantastic. I love it when our analysis aligns. Thanks for sharing. Buba is asking, when you have big market news like NFP or CPI, do you enter market at pending? Or I do not. When it comes to news, I do not do pending orders, or not super big news, like news with the RBA or the FOMC rate decision, those kind of rate decision news. I could, depending on my risk at that, my risk profile at that time, I could do a market pending order, just to try and catch that. Oops, what's happening here? To try and catch that move, right? To catch the initial move. There it is. Hang on 1 second. To catch the initial move, but in terms of the NFP, because NFP tends to spike up and come back down, and might whipsaw a bit, so I don't do a pending order. Hope I answered the question there. And if I'm in good profit, then I might even enter before the news just to try and catch, but very seldom it'll be the NFP. It'll be other slightly smaller news. Okay, Jimmy's asked, any live stream for the NFP? I don't think I'll do a live stream. I'm just gonna focus on my own trade. So I'll give you, I guess, the scenarios and the possible setups. But it's hard. It's quite hard to talk and trade, because when I'm trading, I'm flicking around charts and it gets a bit messy in different time frames and all kinds of things. So I don't think we'll do the NFP this time around, but we will get to that shortly, soon, not shortly, soon. All right. Then now pound Swiss franc. Okay, pound Swiss franc. You can see I don't have any lines here. It's pushing up. It's pushing up because of the Swiss franc. US Swiss franc is pushing up, and the pound is pushing down. So that should actually push that down. So the Swiss franc is pushing it up. Let me see. Oh, I've got lines way back down now. I take that away. That trend line is kind of holding. That might be the one reason why we see that pushing up, in addition to the Swiss franc. I don't think the fib levels are going to do anything for us at this point. Pound, let me think. Pound is sitting right there. Some pound strength is going to pull that up. Swiss franc is sitting right there. That you can see very similar correlation between that move and that move. Take this point down, and it's at 38.2 right there. So this is the big resistance up here. There's been a big trending move up. Look at that. So that trend line has held very well. Big trending move up. We did have a fake break here, but that could be a good support. Bouncing back up, break 38.2 and push higher. I actually think that if it goes higher, if it goes any higher, it might be, this is not a pair, and again, this is not a pair that I trade or I look at much. I mean, we were looking at it way back. I think only Diana asked about this. I think that we might see that happen. right? We might see that happen. So if I were to look at this, I'll probably look for maybe some selling opportunities, particularly if it stays below that area. If it tests and rejects this area, then I would be looking at 1.14, below 1.1440, stop loss tight, maybe even 15 to 20 pips, 20 at a very maximum, and then your take profit could go down to about 40 pips to the downside. We're looking for the test and reject. But that trend line has been holding very well. We kind of missed. It would be a great place to buy at this point up. Kind of missed that move, so I think that we can look for a possible rejection or retest of the trend line. All right, Diana, I hope I answered your question there on the pound Swiss franc. Then onto the pound yen. All right, we're talking about this for further upside push. Take all that away. Now that it's pushed lower, we've got too many dotted lines here. Take all that away. We don't need those. I'll put that as a support. No, I like this one as a big support. Right, I like this one as a major support level because it's got multiple swing levels. Take all those away, and then on the interim level we have about that point there, right in the middle. And this one we have right about that point here. Take that away. And take that away. Okay. So cleaned up the charts a little bit. Now looking at this move up, 61.8 tested, bounced off, pushing a little bit higher. US yen is forming that neckline. Right, it's forming that neckline, so we'll watch that. Pound dollar pushing back up, pushing slightly higher. So pound yen could be dragged higher. Pound yen, given that it's found 61.8 tested and rejected, could be dragged a bit higher. Again, bearing in mind that there's a news coming out in a couple of hours. If we see the yen, I was going to say if we see the yen push up and then turn back down, we might actually see the pound yen push up and then turn back down. But I would say that this would be an alternate scenario. 191.50, stop loss would be about 30 pips. Take profit could be about 70 pips to the upside. So that would be it's purely technical. This will be a purely technical view, but that would be what I'll be looking out for on the pound yen. Right, testing, breaking above that point, 191.50, stop loss 30, take profit 70, back up towards that previous swing high level. In fact, I could even put this as a resistance. All right, there we go. And for good measure, we'll look at pound Swiss yen. We spoke about this dropping lower, did not get to that, take that away. Our double bottom thing did not work, still holding at that point. It's just going to sit between these levels. Again, yen, we're thinking they might push up a little bit before coming back down, possibly. Swiss franc now sitting in the middle there, so I think Swiss yen is going to sit in between these levels, between the support of 166.80 and 168. If If it does break the support, you got something below, I would be a bit more cautious about trying to buy it back up, right? So I'll still be more tempted to look for it to break, I'd say a 30 pip stop loss, a good 90 pip take profit, back down again. Still more tempted to look for that downside move. Pound Aussie, I was talking about this, my trade done. As the pound was dropping just then, I was thinking, could this hit lower again? But I think that's it for the Pound Aussie. Alrighty. Oh, I missed that. I'm looking to sell from fair value 1.1450. 1.1450. Yeah, good. Almost the same analysis. Fantastic. I like it. I love it. A test, reject, and sell down. I agree entirely. I'll tell you that it's not a trade that I would get onto because I don't want to have it opened on my MT5. But that would be something to, if you were getting into a trade, that's a good idea. A possibly good setup. Thank you so much, Stefan. Thanks for that, Jimmy. For everyone else, remember before you jump off, help me click that like and subscribe button. I would appreciate that very much. If you are trading the non-farm employment change numbers, please trade well, trade safe. If you're not going to be entering a trade, if you made enough pips from the week, look forward to next week. I'll see you all again on the chat, onto Discord, and also with our streams next week. Please trade well, trade safe. I'll catch you again. Take care now and have a fantastic weekend ahead. Bye.